Hello and welcome to this Independence Day special on WION. Now, over the last 70 years, Indian sports has achieved quite a few memorable highs. Today on this show, we look back fondly on those memories. Let's just talk about what we are trying to attempt here. Now, Indian sports has thrown up a plethora of greats over the last 70 years. But is there any one sporting star who shines the greatest? The editorial team at WION has followed a different methodology to zero in on our shortlist. We haven't gone by popular sentiment. We have picked one sports person each from a sports person who by his or her feats has inspired future generations and has provided moments that have impacted Indian sport. There will be a few surprises, I can guarantee you that. But at the top, let me just say we do not mean any disrespect to anyone. So before we begin, here are the 10 champions we have chosen in no particular order. They are Kapil Dev, triple Olympic champion Balbir Singh Dosanjh from hockey, tennis icon Leander Paes, badminton pioneer Prakash Padukone, Q Sports record machine Pankaj Advani, the queen of Indian athletics PT Usha, Olympic champion Abhinav Bindra, double Olympic medalist Sushil Kumar, chess giant Vishwanathan Anand, and the king of the ring in boxing, the one and only Vijender Singh. We look back fondly on those memories with a star-studded who's who of Indian sports. Joining me from New Delhi is the wall of Indian hockey, the captain of the national team, PR Srijesh. In the studio with me is a legend of Indian shooting, one of the few world champions in the sport and a recipient of the country's highest sporting honor, the Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna, Manavjit Singh Sandhu. And finally, the voice of Indian sport, Novi Kapadia, someone who's watched every moment, every high, every low over the last 5 decades. Let me start with you, Novi. You know, when you look at these 10 names we have chosen, in a sense, they reflect Indian sport from 1948 right down till today. But let's just address the elephant in the room. There are some big omissions. People will say, why no Sachin Tendulkar and why Kapil Dev? But I'll just go back to an interview Sachin Tendulkar gave in 2009 where he said, I would not have perhaps been a cricketer had it not been for the feats of Kapil Dev and his team in 1983.
Yeah, people like Kapil Dev, others on our list, somebody like Abhinav Bindra also, they broke the glass ceiling. You know, when we were abroad in the 70s and 80s in international competitions, there were snide remarks that, you know, country of billions, genetically they can't produce gold medalists. There was always said India could never produce 4 fast bowlers. If not for Kapil Dev, look at the string of fast bowlers we have now. I mean, better than most countries in the world.
Yes.
So definitely Kapil Dev is extremely important and he could fit into the team as a batsman and as a bowler. And was the first one who brought explosiveness to Indian cricket. Indian cricket was always technically very perfect. Kapil Dev gave it a new dimension.
Okay.
And after all, you know, you remember the first people who went up to Mount Everest.
Yes.
He's the first to win the World Cup.
Yes, Manav, you know, the other greats of Indian cricket who would claim to be in this list would be Sunny Gavaskar, Sachin Tendulkar, Anil Kumble, Mahendra Singh Dhoni. But all the cricketers I spoke to when I actually had to cotton in on who to put on this list, they all said Kapil Dev for the sheer impact.
No, it's very important to understand that how would you go about picking? I think one criteria could be what that person did for the sport in our country and what it did for the sports, our country's image at a world stage. And I think, you know, winning the World Cup in such emphatic and powered largely by an individual effort, I think...
and everyone remembers the 175, the first one-day century by
Absolutely.
an Indian, 17 for 5. The situation demanded a knock, and that knock delivered, in a sense, that World Cup.
So absolutely, I think that he's a very, very important part of this list. Absolutely.
Okay, but if Kapil Dev is the representative of cricket, Indian sport, in a sense, post-independence was all about hockey. And when you talk of hockey, you have to talk about that golden run of 8 gold medals from 1928 to 1980. PR Srijesh is the captain of the men's hockey team. Srijesh, independent India, 1948, first gold medal India won as an independent nation was hockey. We had lost a lot of players to Pakistan, a lot of players, Anglo-Indian players went off to Australia. So in that sense, what Balbir Singh Dosanjh achieved and along with that team was phenomenal. That's why he's on that list ahead of perhaps other greats of Indian hockey, because he completed a golden hat-trick.
Yeah, definitely, when we look back in the glory days, that period was a great era for Indian hockey. And if you take the name of Balbir Singh Senior, definitely he's been a part of 3 Olympic games. He won 3 gold medal. Even though after his playing career, he was a member of the World Cup team as a manager coach in 71 and winning World Cup team of 75. So definitely when I look through this list, I probably feel like that is the best guy. That is the man who dedicated himself towards the sports as a player, as a coach, and all around now the promoter of hockey. So that's a great era, and definitely those are our heroes, and still because of that motivation we are still dragging ourselves into this tough situation. Feel like, yeah, we can bring that glory days back in 2020 or 2024.
Yes, and we hope you're going to be there with us for that, Srijesh, because while Balbir Saab was a goal scorer par excellence, you are a goal stopper. But Novi Kapadia, I also spoke to Balbir Saab last year, and he spoke about the pride to see the Indian tricolour go up at the Wembley Stadium in 48. He scored 2 goals in that final, 52. He scored a world record in the final, still stands today for most goals in the final of an Olympic tournament, led the team in 56. That was a different India, and India searching for an identity in the world.
Yes, there's to be this joke that India's 1 gold medal, there's to get more felicitations than, say, USA winning about 30, 40 gold medals. Prime Minister Nehru's to receive them, there'd be, parades till Red Fort. But Balbir Singh, I think what is remarkable is the way he overcame adversity. A fractured thumb in 1956 at Melbourne. Still played the final and kept it hidden from the Pakistanis. Psychological. 48, the usual infighting, factionalism in the Indian team. Kept out of most of the matches. Didn't grumble. Was never, despite being one of the best players in the world, was never a prima donna. So he's an example to everybody, and he represented the ethos of that age. Okay. Sacrifice for the country. Sacrifice for the country.
Now, the next sports person we're going to talk about is also someone who is not just a legend, but he's a pioneer in that sense. He's a good friend of Manavjit Singh Sandhu. In fact, Manavjit Sandhu was with him the night he won the Olympic gold. The first, you remember the first man. And all these years, we've never had an Olympic champion. Till 2008, your good friend Abhinav Bindra going out, shattering the cynicism that surrounded India's sports persons.
There's a lot can be said about the talent that he has. But in the end, greatness comes from transferring the talent into an achievement. He's undoubtedly the world champion, but still, the fact that he was almost there in Athens and then to come back in the emphatic fashion that he had to deliver in 2008 was tremendous. And I think it's absolutely, if you have to talk about not necessarily a sportsman, but a crowning achievement, one event, I think in India's first Olympic individual gold is something which is absolutely tremendous. And the entire country owes a huge debt to Abhinav for doing this for us, for bringing us to this stage.
Yes, and also, Manav, you and he won the World Championship in 2006, the first 2 Indians in shooting to climb the World Summit in Olympic events. And I think the beauty of Abhinav's career is won the World Championship, the Olympic medal, and right till the end, perhaps his legacy is more enhanced by him finishing 4th in the Olympics. That shows how close that sport is. It's in decimal scoring, and it's a sport which celebrates perfection air rifle.
Yeah, that's exactly why we say that it cannot be one moment. To be considered to be the greatest Indian sportsman, you have to have shown some level of consistency at that stage. I personally feel his World Championship was an essential block to his Olympic victory, and perhaps if he weren't world champion, he may have faltered at the last step, because there's certain sort of grit and confidence that you get from being the reigning world champion, and that sort of saw him through. So that is amazing, and he's done amazing for Indian sport.
Okay, let's move on from Abhinav Bindra. Let's talk about the other man at the Beijing Olympics who went on and perhaps not just emulated Abhinav, but he went one better. I'm going to get Srijesh in on this, because Srijesh, we spoke about Abhinav Bindra and what he did for Indian sport and Indian sports persons, but Sushil Kumar showed that not just can individual athletes win 1, they can go and win 2 as well.
Definitely, when we look forward, before there was a talk happens, is that whenever Olympics happens, the hockey is the only game we predict a medal or a gold medal. But the athletes, they're really coming up. Their fighting spirit, their sportsmanship comes to a high point nowadays. Sushil Kumar, he is a down-to-earth person, and on the field, he never give up. He keep on fighting hard, and still, I think we people, the modern people, we should and make him as a mentor, follow his route, and we should try to get more medals, more glory for our country through a person like him.
Yes, he showed Indian sport and Indian sports person Novi Kapadia that you could go out and succeed. Another man who did it in the same Olympics, and we're talking of the class of 2008, was Vijinder, because we had a history in boxing. You had the Dinkos, the Hawa Singhs much previously. But what Vijinder did, he got in glamour, he destroyed the cynicism like Abhinav that you could go and win an Olympic medal. He went and won a World Championship medal. He's got Commonwealth Games medals, and he also is an Asian Games gold medalist.
What I think was more important in 2008 at Beijing, Vijinder wasn't highly rated to get a medal. In fact, it was Akhil.
Yes.
And Akhil had made a comeback victory and beaten the world champion, Vodyanov.
On Independence Day?
On Independence Day, yes, in 2008. But I think after that, the sheer excitement of that victory got to him, and he succumbed to a Moldovan in the quarterfinal. Vijinder was slow and steady and reached the last four. And he's always looked to improve. I think Vijinder is an example, the first professional in Indian sport, in social media, who's combined Bollywood, social, involvement with
typical
social media
boxer.
and professionalism.
Yeah.
He's never let his boxing skills decline, and he's brought professional boxing to India. I mean, that in itself, I mean, he's a pioneer. So he's by far, there could be a dispute, why not Mary Kom, who's 5 times world champion. But I always think she's benefited being the first mover.
Yes.
You know, so many women in the world don't do boxing.
Yes.
So definitely Vijinder. He's outstanding, and he's still continuing at 32.
Yes, and professional boxing starting
He's
a new
very tough.
career, perhaps laying a new foundation for professional boxing. Because Srijesh is here, I want to go to him for our next champion. And this one is from his state of Kerala, a true pioneer, Srijesh. And perhaps when you were growing up, they were telling you tales of P.T. Usha.
The entire country knows about her. She is the icon for the athlete. And the sad part is that the point, once again, we Indians realize how important is 0.01 second. That's because of her. And still now we are all sad about that particular moment. But the way she gave the glamorous to that sport, that's marvelous. And I should say that I'm really proud to say that she is from my state, and I'm very close to her, and I know her very well. So definitely when it comes to India, P.T. Usha is an icon.
Yes, icon. Very quickly, Novi Kapadia, what she did also, we have a great athletes, Randhawa Saab, Mr. Milkha Singh, but P.T. Usha was not just one event, she was across events, and 86 Asian Games. The fact that she won those gold medals which took India right up there, her record in athletics, no one can come close.
You have to be there, like we were there, to know. You know, there was the usual humiliation, that large contingent, no medals, and one woman finished with 4 gold medals. And above all, she made athletics universal in India. After P.T. Usha, there was the boom. Earlier, there were just some Anglo-Indian girls and a few from Punjab who took part in athletics. P.T. Usha brought an athletics revolution in India.
Yes, athletics revolution. Another man who got a revolution, but this was not in athletics, but he was a great athlete, still is a great athlete. Someone Manav knows very well is Leander Paes, because we waited a long time from 1952 to 1996 for an Olympic individual medal. Sushil Kumar has told me, Maleshwari has told me, and even Yogeshwar that told me that they were inspired when they saw Leander Paes standing on that podium, and that too in singles.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Leander has been just a champion beyond belief. The longevity of someone like, of his career. But it's all started from 96. That bronze, I think, sort of gave India a gasping hope, you know, because we were really down and out. And to do it in singles and not in his, not in the format that he's done so well in now was tremendous. And he's a great human being, a superb ambassador for India and for the sport. You know, he travels the world, and he showcases what India, the best of India can be, and we're very, very proud of him. Brilliant champion.
Yes, I was in the Rio Olympics last year, and after a game against the eventual champions Argentina, I saw Srijesh sprinting to catch hold of Leander and take a selfie with him. I hope you remember that, Srijesh, because Leander Paes is a man who defies age, 7-time Olympian, Olympic medalist, 18-time Grand Slam champion. He's won everything that is there to be won. Arguably one of the legends of Indian sport.
Definitely, Diggy. I remember that each moment, each second. And that guy was jumping when we beat them. And I don't know, he was happier. He seems more happier than us. And what he said, I asked him, requested him for a selfie. He said, Srijesh, I want to click a selfie with you guys. You are really making us proud. And even though he is played 7, he was attending his 7th Olympics and he was still has that enthusiasm, he still has that energy to showcase or support the other players, saying that, okay, you guys need to go on. And I definitely says that that energy, that sportsman spirit, it's really a example for the Indian sports person, the upcoming sports person.
Yes, his Davis Cup record, the fact that he's always gone out there and played for the flag, elevates Leander Paes to greatness, as does Pankaj Advani, Novi Kapadia, because Pankaj Advani had a great tradition to follow, the likes of Wilson Jones, Michael Ferreira, Geet Sethi, but he's gone and built on that. The kind of titles he has won is nobody can come close. He's got Asian Games medals, he's won 2 of them, he's won world titles in snooker as well. He's a machine.
Yes, and he's still got many years to go, so we don't know where it will end at. Certainly, Pankaj Advani is built on that legacy and developed on it, and above all, an excellent, representative of his sport. His temperament, again, not a prima donna, no attitude, always been very helpful, and to do it in snooker, which is a much more worldwide game than billiards, which is a very niche sport. So, full credit to Pankaj Advani.
Okay, another man from Bangalore we're going to talk about now is Prakash Padukone. Now these days we have a badminton revolution in this country. What people forget, Manav, is that Prakash Padukone put India on the badminton map by going out there, going and training abroad, becoming world #1, winning the unofficial world championship, the All England then. Yes, people talk of Gopi Chand and Saina Nehwal, but it wouldn't have been there had it not been for Prakash Padukone.
Absolutely. Another classic example of the importance of what one individual and his drive and his achievements can do for sport. Today, badminton is a huge sport in our country, and I think Prakash Padukone's All England and his subsequently the World Championship, I think was a brilliant, brilliant watershed moment for his sport, and he delivered for India when badminton needed it most.
Yes, and Novi Kapadia, you were giving me an interesting anecdote on how Prakash actually bucked the trend by going abroad and training. He trained with the best and played at the greatest badminton generation ever.
Yes, he could have comfortably stayed in NIS Patiala, would have got an air-conditioned room and, done what most Indian sportsmen then were doing. He broke the glass ceiling, He had ambitions, he trained in Denmark. Difficult times, the food wasn't food and other conditions. And you had people like Han Jian, Ichuk Segui Arto, Lim Swee King, some of the greatest badminton players ever.
Yeah.
So, though Saina Nehwal has got an Olympic bronze, Sindhu has got an Olympic silver, which is, if they were, outstanding women's sportswomen, they could be there. But definitely, Prakash Padukone, unbelievable, and at such a young age, to be a pioneer in the sport.
Another pioneer, our final pioneer on this show of great champions we are discussing is Vishwanathan Anand, India's chess superstar, perhaps one of the greatest chess players of all time as well. Manav, chess, when I was growing up, I think when you were growing up, was a Russian-dominated sport. Absolutely. Vishy broke that. And he showed that, Indians can go out there. The fact that he defended his titles all across that 7 or 8 year period marks him for greatness.
No, absolutely. Look, it's Russian dominated, yes, but we must understand that chess was so important that the superpowers, America and Russia, made it a huge issue as to who the grandmaster is going to be from. So that is the importance given to a sport like chess. And for someone from India to come across and to be a brand ambassador, I think he's done tremendously for India, and his achievements are just incredible, absolutely incredible.
Absolutely incredible, like the other 9 on this list. Well, that does it. We've discussed all the 10 sporting greats we've chosen for this debate. So I'm going to put all my panelists on the mat. I'm going to start with you, Srijesh. I know this is where it gets tricky and controversial, but very quickly, who's your pick, if I would ask you, of these 10 for the tag of the greatest Indian sportsperson?
Definitely, I will go with Balbir Senior, because the way he's devoted his life towards hockey, being a player, being a captain, being a coach, he done a marvelous job. And it's all according to the eras. When sport was not that much fame, that time he came up, he done a lot of good stuff. So every era, I think everyone done their better parts. If you take PT Usha, she done the revolution among the women. They come up, they started to take up sports, they started to run. So everyone got their talent. Leander Paes, he is icon for the table tennis. I mean, Pankaj Jadhwani snooker is a world champion, is dominating character. So everyone, each one of them have their, I mean, they got their recognition, they got their, they are icon for us. But still, I go with hockey. Definitely, you know that name.
Yes, you're a hockey player, you have to say that. But Manav, let's hope you're neutral. Your pick?
I think it's, for me, it's impossible to pick one because it's just, it's too close, really. And it would be disservice to discount because since you have put me on the spot, I'll go with 4.
Okay.
Abhinav, Vishwanathan Anand, Leander Paes and Sushil. In my opinion, these 4 are too close to set apart.
Okay, perhaps you're a 4-time Olympian, so you've gone with 4 Olympians. Novi Kapadia, final word to you. Your pick? You're the neutral in this.
Yeah, thanks to Manavjit, even I can go beyond 1. It's been very difficult. Vishwanathan Anand cannot be discounted. 5 times world champion, started a chess revolution in India. But ultimately, an Olympic gold medal, 100 years from now, we won't be here. They'll still remember Abhinav Bindra. So for me, Abhinav Bindra and Vishwanathan Anand. You cannot discount that. Cricket, I would keep away because ultimately cricket, 6 countries or 8 countries play seriously. So in really international sports, it's for me the 70 years of independence. It's Abhinav Bindra and Vishwanathan Anand.
Okay, Abhinav Bindra and Vishwanathan Anand for Novi Kapadia. That does it. At least on this show, there seems to be perhaps a hint of a consensus with a lot of names. But this is just the opinion of the few of us here. As we said at the top, every one of those who made the shortlist is a champion. Also those who we didn't include in our shortlist. As I said, no disrespect to anyone. Thank you, Sri Jesh. Thank you, Manav. Thank you, Novi Kapadia. And as we wrap this up, a huge thank you from all of us here at WION to every sports person who has worn India colours over the last 70 years. Every one of you is a champion. Goodbye and thanks for watching.